Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ron Spomer Outdoors. Say, if you caught some of our 308 Winchester Week videos, you might remember that I chose out of 9 tested rifles one that I liked best, and this is it. The Wilson Combat New Ultralight Arms Model 20. Quite a mouthful, but it's quite a rifle. I thought I would just detail it a little more for you so you get a full understanding of its history and performance potential. Now, this thing got started way back in 1985 when a gun maker or gunsmith in West Virginia named Melvin Forbes, I call him a mechanical genius, but he had this grand idea of how to make the ultimate lightweight mountain rifle. And that was to scale everything down to the modern materials, especially the steels that would withstand a lot more pressure than traditional steels used to design the popular bolt-action rifles of the 20th century. Think Model 70, Model 700, the Savage 110s. Those are some pretty big, beefy actions. So Forbes tested steels to get their tensile strength and all the things he needed to know about them, and shaved everything down to function in a smaller package. And he ended up with a rifle that had a 22-inch barrel and weighed about 4 3/4 pounds. He called it the Ultralight Arms Rifle. And he went into business selling those for many, many years. And he just recently sold out to Wilson Combat. And they're making the new version with a few tweaks. And we're going to cover the differences as we go through this video. Now, this is an original. It was one of the prototypes that Mel made, and he sent around to different gun writers for testing. And I hunted with this thing so much and loved it so much and kept borrowing it from him, and he finally sold it to me. And he upgraded it a little bit from its original color pattern. He nitrided the barreled action so it wouldn't rust, and I just used the heck out of it. I hunted all the mountain ranges. I hunted whitetails with it, and mule deer and coyotes and elk and sheep and goats, and oh my goodness, what a classic mountain rifle. Now, by the time I got it all field ready, it weighed just about 6 pounds. We're going to see that with a scale here in a little bit. And that is a lightweight rifle. And the question, of course, is who could stand the recoil with a lightweight rifle like that? Well, for one thing, it's chambered in .284 Winchester. It's spitting a 140, 150 grain bullet around 2,850 to 2,900 feet per second. Pretty efficient little setup. And I took game out to, I can remember one shot at 418 yards. Most stuff came inside of 350. And it just performed. I always called it my guided missile because it just seemed like it came to my shoulder so smoothly and so precisely, and I could swing it so easily that generally when I shot, the bullet went where it was supposed to go. It doesn't mean I'm all that great of a shot, and this is not a bench class rifle. I mean, it'll shoot inch and a quarter groups. With the right hand loads, I could get them down to 3/4 inch for a 3-shot group. Sometimes a half inch, but that was kind of an anomaly. Hi, folks. Hey, some exciting news. My book on the 7mm cartridges is about to hit the streets, and I think we can get them to you before Christmas. Now, here's a special deal we're going to offer. Go to ronspomeroutdoors.com, my website, and you can order a personalized signed volume. We're normally going to do those for $50, but we're going to do it $40 if you get that order in on Black Friday before the end of the day. And normally, if you want to save some money, you can pick this up for $30. That's going to be the normal price. But the special signed editions and personalized ones, like to my best 7mm shooter husband, something like that, we're happy to do that for you. So go to ronspomeroutdoors.com and be ready for the 7mm cartridge book. We cover every 7mm cartridge in the world that I could dig up, including not only the ones that are currently being made and sold as factory ammunition, but wildcats, obsolete cartridges, proprietary cartridges, pretty much everything and anything out there. So we'd love to have your business. I hope you enjoy the book, 7mm by Ron Spomer. Oh, and Merry Christmas. But the point is, for hunting, it was more than accurate enough, and it didn't bite me with recoil. Now, why would that be with such a lightweight rifle? Well, one thing, of course, is the negative comb. It rises toward the back. It doesn't fall down. So when you shoot, it slides out from under your cheek, comes back like that rather than kicking up into it. That helps a lot. straight line, delivers all the energy back into that recoil pad and into your shoulder. And then a lot of folks say that the Kevlar glass layup stocks seem to absorb and spread out over time the recoil energy. I can't confirm that. I mean, it sounds cool, but whether or not it's true, I don't know. But something is going on to tame recoil, because really, I just have never felt that this thing kicked hard. And a lot of my friends and their wives have borrowed it and been impressed with how sweetly it shoots without felt recoil. Now, this one has a 22-inch barrel. It's a Douglas barrel. I can't remember. I think that would have been a cut rifling. And it's got a blind magazine. So that saves some of the weight, of course. And it's a 2-lug system. Now, everything's going to be pretty much the same on this Wilson, with a few significant changes and some differences we'll get into. But I'll just finish showing you what the original was like. Now, the safety on this one looks like a traditional 2-position safety. But when it's back, it locks the bolt down, and the trigger, of course, won't fire, so it's safe. But if you push down on that safety, you can lift and pull your rounds out. So that's kind of a handy little feature. Forward, of course, and you can fire, and you can also cycle your boat. Well, that was useful for safety reasons, because you had to get your rounds out like this. Well, here's the improvement in the Wilson. Trapdoor bottom metal, and the classic magazine. Anodized aluminum, extremely lightweight still. They both have Timney Elite Hunter triggers. This one has kind of a more modern bolt, a little bit gnarlier. Everybody seems to like these hard edges these days. And it definitely improves the grip if you've got a slippery hand or something. I have always liked the rounded knobs. I like to bolt my actions like this quite often. So it just kind of rolls in my hand smoothly, but no big deal there. Now, the actual bolt system is the familiar dual lug locking bolts in a push system, like the 700 Remingtons most people know. 2 locking bolts. You've got a plunger ejector inside of the bolt face, and you've got that Socko-style extractor hook right there, spring-loaded. And that is the same on both of these rifles. And I have never had any failures with this one, and I can't imagine I would with the other. Now, I've noticed that the bolt's a little slicker on this new version from Wilson Combat. It is coated in something called, I put a note down there, I always forget, Armor Lube. I'm not sure what it is, but it's some kind of a slick surface material that they put on there that really makes this thing silky smooth. Now, there must be a sister to it called Armor Tough that they put on the barrel and give it this finish. So this is not going to rust. I think it's a ceramic, but I won't swear to it. But it's beautifully silky smooth, and I assume quite durable, and makes it rough proof. But the barrel itself here is stainless, 416R stainless steel. So you don't have to worry so much about the inside, the bore, the critical part, rusting. It's a 20-inch barrel compared to 22 on the original, and it has a threaded muzzle, so you can remove the cap and put on a muzzle brake, which I think is kind of what they were thinking with that 20-inch barrel, so you don't get too long, or a brake, whatever you would like. Looks like the barrel is a little bit heavier. Yeah, it looks a little bit heavier contour on that barrel compared to the original, and that'll add a little bit of weight to it. They both save on weight for mounting scopes by using the Tally one-piece aluminum ring system. Those are extremely light and durable. I've always loved those. I have that on both of those. The safety is a little different on this one. Back, of course, got your bolt locked down, but you can't push it down to lift the bolt. You have to go forward into the fire position to function the bolt. But you can drop all your rounds out of the magazine this way, so it's not that big of a deal. You just unload your first one, drop the magazine to take your rounds out. Bingo. Not a bad system. Now, the stock on this one is an AG Composites. They make some really good quality stuff. Real stiff, like the original. This one does not have a raised cheek piece on it. You see that on the original, we've got this raised cheek piece right here. Don't have it on this one. They both feel just fine, and I didn't notice any bite on my head or my face from the new one without the cheek piece. Just a subtle difference there. This one looks like it has carbon fiber. This AG Composites is using carbon. I can see it in here. This was Kevlar and graphite back in the 80s, but just been a rugged, durable stock. I've had it repainted one time, and you can see it's still looking pretty darn good. And this one has a bit of a stipply finish to it. This one's kind of a sandpapery finish. They both stay in my hands really nicely gripped. Now we have a free-floating barrel on the NULA, whereas the original ultralight arms rifle has a fully bedded barrel. And that was one of Mel's ideas for stiffening a really thin barrel. And it sure seemed to work. So it's glass bedded with a real tight fit all the way through that stock. Both systems seems to work pretty well. Now, just with the limited testing I've done for accuracy so far, I would say this is the more accurate rifle. But as I said, the field accuracy was like a guided missile on the 284, so I'm not complaining. But boy, this one is just dropping them right in there. Now, you can get this chambered for 243 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 358 Winchester, as well as the 308 Winchester. And it wouldn't surprise me if down the road they started offering a few more. I do hope they offer either the 284 or 7mm 08, which is pretty close to the same ballistic performance. To me, that 7mm is just the ideal bullet size for North American big game hunting, and really most of Africa too. I mean, you can push bullets as heavy as 175 grains, maybe even 180, and most people shooting a 308 are probably going to stop at 180. So you're right there, and then because you've got a narrower bullet, it'll have a higher BC, and you'll get better downrange performance out of it. But hey, each of us picks our favorite cartridge and rolls with it. If you are looking for a really accurate, solidly built, precise rifle in a lightweight that you can carry all day, go up the mountains with a backpack on, and 6 pounds, I mean, that is sweet. Now, this one, when I've got it fully outfitted like this with this little loopholed, well, this is a VX1 from back in the day, a 2-7x33. I think it only weighs about 10 ounces, that scope. So it's really a light setup, and I think I got it coming in at just under 6 pounds here. Let's just put it on this kitchen scale here and see what we get. Yeah, right. Oh, a couple of ounces under 6 pounds. So pretty sweet. Put a sling on there and you'll hit 6 pounds probably. Now, the new one's a little bit heavier. 6 pounds and looks like 6 ounces, a little more. Nah, 8 ounces, 9 ounces even. But then I don't know what the weight of this scope is. This looks like a heavier scope. So if you made the scope the same, I think you're going to get pretty darn close. At any rate, 6 pound rifle, I think is a pretty good option. Sure has worked out well for me. So if you're looking for something like this, I definitely would recommend you give these guys a tumble here and just see if you might not enjoy that as well. The NULA by Wilson Combat. I think you can get online and find out where they are and what it's all about. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Up until next time, I'd ask you all to hunt honest and shoot straight and tune in for our next show. Glad to have you guys. Take care.